If you've been training in the martial arts, you have probably run into one, if not all, of these 3 mistakes when throwing a front kick. Now, I'm going to go over each one of them and how to fix them. So are you ready? Huh? Are you ready? Let's get started. Let's go. Alrighty, mistake number 1 that people do when they're practicing a front kick, and it's probably the most common, I see this all the time, especially with beginners, is that as they throw that nice good front kick, their hands drop. It's what I call the pulley system. They're acting like they're holding onto some ropes that are tied to a pulley that are tied to their foot, and as they pull this down, the foot comes up. Most common mistake. Why don't you want to do this? Well, you don't want to do this because it opens up your head. And it's dangerous, especially if you're in any type of fighting martial arts, such as, competitive karate or sparring or boxing, kickboxing. If you drop your hands, you're probably going to get hit in the face. It's just a common thing. So one of the key things that you can do is you just work on tucking your elbows in. If I keep my hands up in a good guard position, I'm acting like I'm tightening up my lats and I'm bringing my elbows in and I'm resting them on my body. My hands are up and I'm dipping my shoulder. If I have a good guard position first and I'm keeping my elbows in tight, this helps me protect my ribs. If I keep this position here, my arms won't drop, right? So as I kick, I keep it nice and tight. As I kick, I keep my hands up. I'm still making sure that my guard is up. If you do this when you kick, you're going to stop dropping it down. Now, if all else fails, you can use a prop. Now, right now, I'm just using a foam ball, no big deal. It's green, so that way you can see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right here, kind of like in between my arms. And so now when I kick, I'll hold it. Martial arts instructors, if you're working with a group of beginners and they're constantly dropping their hands and it's driving you nuts, trust me, I get it. Using this will fix all of that. Now you can use a ball, you can use a little square target, you can use a focus mitt, you can use anything that they can pull in here. But you want to make sure that their arms have the ability to move, okay? I've seen some people use the karate belts and hold on to those. You can do that, but they can pull. And they don't want to pull. I want them to not pull. So from here, they kick and they don't drop their hands. They could do it front leg or back leg, it doesn't matter. So you can use a prop to help build that repetition into having a better quality kick. All right, second mistake that people make when they're throwing their front kick. And this is ignoring the 4 parts of the kick. This is the chamber, the lockout, the recoil, and the set down. Now, if you haven't already, I have a video where I go over the front kick in good detail, and it's right up there. So make sure you click on that and review that video. Now, when people kick, one of the most common things that I see is that they kick out and then they drop their leg. They just drop it. They don't pull their foot back in. They just drop. A good kick should have control through the entire kick. You shouldn't just be able to kick and just drop your leg. This does a couple things. If I kick, let's do it like this. If I kick and I drop, I see this a lot. Couple things happen. 1, it's really stressful on my knee because I'm slamming all of my body weight down. And 2, I'm opening up my body. Imagine if I'm kicking, boom, and I'm falling in. If I just fall in, I'm walking right into somebody's attack. Or their defense. So I don't want to do that. I want to be able to kick, pull it back, and then slowly set it down and control my distance, okay? So as you're kicking, try not to kick and drop the leg. Again, it's one of the most common things I see, especially in people that are just learning, and it's okay. But work on rechambering or recoiling that leg before you set it down. A good drill to do that is the kind of an isometric drill where you work on the 4 parts of the kick, where I hold on to something, or if I'm good with my balance, I practice here, but I lift to hold this for 10 seconds. Hold this for 10 seconds. Hold this for 10 seconds, then drop it down for 10 seconds, and then I come back and do it again. I'll do that 3 or 4 times, depending on how much you want to torture yourself. But it's a great drill to help focus on that recoil. And then especially martial arts instructors, do lots of line drills. If you're at home practicing, do lots of practicing, right? The more you can practice kicking and pulling it back, kicking and pulling it back, the more you can practice that, the less apt you're going to be to develop that very, very, very bad habit. And the third mistake that I see a lot of beginners making, even some advanced students, is where you put the energy of your kick. Remember, we want to make our kicks effective. We want to make them do something. If I had to use a tool and I don't know how to use it effectively to the most effect, well, then it's pointless. It's a useless tool. And I don't like training if it's going to be useless. So think about your front kick and what it's for. One, it's used to gauge or get distance. I want to kick into something. Two, it's made to push something away, to create more space. So I want to push them away. Third way is to open up the body. If I kick low and their hands drop, it opens up the head. So I have to make that kick effective in order for it to drop the hands. And the last one is I want to make it hit something. It's an effective striking tool. If I don't use my kick as a strike, it's not going to be effective. So one of the most common things I see people doing when they're practicing the front kick is they don't know how to direct the energy of the kick. And that is a lack of hip movement. Okay? So what I mean by this is when they kick, you'll see this a lot. Do you see that? See how it just scrapes the bag? Because my direction of the kick was up. I kicked up on it. I kicked here. When I kick up, that's where I'm putting my energy, up. And we get this a lot when we practice a lot on hitting x-ray paper or pads and we hit them up. When we practice like that, we are training our body to direct the energy upwards when really I want this energy out. Okay? I want it out. I want to strike something. Think of it as like a jab or a cross. I want it to be out. It's a jab. It's a cross. I want it to be out. So hip position is going to help that immensely. Remember, I don't want to kick up. See how my hips didn't move? My kick went up. I don't want that. I want my hip to go into it and kick in, right? If I can do that, if I can focus on taking my hip and pushing it into my kick, making this a stabbing kick, a jab kick, it's going to be much, much more effective. So I want you to practice that. So there you have it. Those are the three most common mistakes I see with the front kick. Now, if you work on those three fixes, I guarantee you will see great improvements in your power and your flexibility and your speed of your kicks. So work on them. Take them seriously. Break them down. Dissect your kick a little bit and make sure that you're doing everything right. Making sure you're keeping your upper body still. Don't have the pulley. Making sure that you're directing your kick to where you need it to go. And also making sure that you're not just dropping into your kick when you're done. You don't want to do that. Okay? It's going to keep you safe. It's going to get you strong. It's going to make your kicks fast. And it's going to keep you protected. So work on those kicks, and I will see you in class.